What's going on, guys? This is episode 7 in the series. We're going to go over my last purchase and I'm going to explain my view a bit on the market and how I plan on diversifying the portfolio and how I plan also on having more exposure to commodities in general. So, if we look at the chart here, we have the silver market. How much is announced in US dollars for silver, which is at 61. We reached almost 64, like a bit more than 64 actually, this week, but as Friday came, it retraced a little bit. I have a pretty big position on this that I've been pyramiding on into other accounts, but I think silver is about to flip and start to overperform gold. This is usually the case historically when gold makes the news and starts to gain momentum. Uh, the appetite for risk of investors starts to increase and money flows into silver, which is a bit more volatile. And when people feel safer, they start to invest a little bit more in silver. And you can see here gold has been absolutely ripping in the past couple of years. And if we look at silver versus gold, you can see here that silver is starting to buy a bit more gold as we go. So there's been some peaks where silver really was buying more gold than it is now, like almost triple the amount that it is now. So my expectation is that as we as the US dollar starts to become less popular, we will see more and more people moving into the precious metal space, and even more will move into silver, I believe, in the next few months. Than in gold itself, as they are looking for higher returns on their investments. As the price of silver starts to rise, the appetite for risk increases as well, eventually to the juniors. So people start to invest first into the majors, then the mid caps, and then the juniors. And right now, what we can see is a decoupling of the silver starting to perform more than the price of silver itself. When there is fear, then you can tell that the juniors take a beating even more because people get out of risk of the volatility that the smaller caps provide. So this is something to keep in mind whenever you start to invest into this space, which is very volatile, very risky to be holding for the long term. But right now, everything points to precious metals as being the store of value and the protection against the decay of the US dollar in the market. So, what are the options to invest into the into silver juniors and silver in general with dividend yield? There is SLVO, which has been around for quite a while, which is a purple line over here. But as you can see, it's been underperforming both SILJ and SLV whenever the market starts to pick up. So it's something to consider. Yes, you can generate some income with it, but there are other options. One option is this Amplify covered call ETF, which is giving a 21% yield right now. I've already invested in it in the experiment. I might add more to my position as time goes on. So let's take a look at SLJY over here compared to SLVO. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a lot of data, but you can tell that it's underperforming as well in terms of total returns because the green line here, incorporates the distributions as well inside the performance. So it is underperforming, but it is generating still positive returns. It returned 41% total return since the inception. So I'm going to remove SLVO here because this one is a bit better. So I have this one, and the one I just incorporated is very new. It's a Global X Silver Covered Call ETF, and it's overperforming the SLJY and SILJ in terms of total returns. It's it doesn't have a lot of data, so it's a bit hard to make a case for it. But what I like about it is that it has a lower yield, and therefore I think it will be able to keep a bit more of the capital inside of my portfolio. So let's take a look real quick at AGCC. It has a 6.68% yield right now, but it is performing well. And the sometimes Global X provide a leverage version of this. So I'm expecting AGCL to come out just as GLCL for gold exposure has come out eventually. Let me just remove this one and go for GLCC just to show you the difference, and GLCL. So you can tell here the red line is over here, it's at 50%, and GLCC is at 38%. So that 25% leverage can give you about a 12% over the same period of time. So whenever, like I won't sell positions into the covered call experiment, but what I will do is maybe transition from non-leverage to leverage if ever they come out with the product of AGCL. So right now I'll stick to AGCC as I think it will buffer a bit, because right now the yield is very high, so I don't expect the total yield on my portfolio to be keeping up. I don't think if I receive 18% of yield that my capital, my total capital for my portfolio will stay up. I think it will eat at the NAV, so I don't want that. So let's remove this. So AGCC. So that's it. So I'm catching up a bit. I expect it to stay a bit under SLV because there is no leverage, and because of the nature of covered calls, it will be a bit hard to compete. But I think as AGCL comes to market, if it does, then it will be probably beat SLV, or at least stay really close to it. So now let's take a look at the portfolio. So as far as the yield, right now the yield is sitting at 18%. Of course, buying a 6% yielder is going to bring the yield quite a bit, but also GDXY has dropped a lot. It used to be really, really high, and now I think it was in the 90% temporarily. Now it dropped to 33%, which is a bit more normal for this one. And it brought the yield below 20% quite aggressively because of that. But I think it's more realistic as well. So there is Circle, which is leading the pack with 55%. I don't think that this is going to last, but I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts as I receive some income from it. Blocks is at 36%. The shares dropped a lot though, so it's going to take a while for the account to recuperate the regular amount from it. Biggie, 31%. But this one is a bit. I'm going to add to this eventually, but I'm waiting for some type of pullback from the market before I start to invest a bit more into technology. Because of the overpricing compared to other opportunities that I have elsewhere. HBTE at 28%, SLJY 21%. This one I'm a bit up on the, no, I'm actually down for this on the yield on cost. CANI, Canadian ones, this one is pretty flat. Ethereum, I'm down quite a bit on, I think 30% or so. We're going to take a look. ENCL has been steady. I just bought it, so I don't expect much from it. But you can, just to show you, AGCC doesn't provide a lot of income compared to how much I invested in. So these are like the $300 positions. This one I invested a little bit more, 350, and it's generating $22 annually of income. So my job as my micro portfolio manager is going to try to equalize a little bit how much I bring in from each of those investments, because if I keep the yield as at 18%, for sure my capital will go down over time. So what I want to do in the next few months is to increase the positions into the main ones that I want to be heavier on, and this includes gold and silver. And I want to make sure that the growth of the portfolio keeps close to on par with the S&P, or a bit better if I can help it. So I expect that next week I will buy a bit more of these base materials. I'm really going to materials right now, just to shield myself. I have very little exposure to technology right now. I have Biggie. I have, which is the other one? JetQ is also in the technology space, but it represents around 10% of my portfolio, I think, that I was calculating over there. So as far as the diversification, SWBI has been my biggest position so far. It's not going to stay at that because it has a very low yield, around 5% when I bought it. Then GDXY, I like that, but it's a high yielder that I expect to start eating capital as soon as gold starts to go sideways or go down. UNH is a bigger position because it's in US dollars in the account, but it's a 300 something dollar US that I've invested in, which translate to 400 something. So it looks bigger than the other ones, but my goal is to increase the Canadian positions into the portfolio, and bring up my precious metals exposure, as well as base metals, which I'll cover later on. And I want to add also some utilities and also some diversified funds that I will share in the next few weeks. So that's going to be all for this video for this week. I want to keep them short and explain a bit what I'm seeing, what I'm thinking, and so you can hopefully learn a thing or two. And if you have anything to propose or add to don't be afraid to drop a comment below. So I'll see you next week or in a couple of weeks. We'll see.